So 11:20 or so time works. Yeah, so hypothetically, if you want to go if you want to go like this way to go first and then have all the state officials go after them. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I need to find everything that's been sent to hands off the station. Everything else is good. The governor's coming soon.
Okay.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please rise for the national anthem to be sung by Mark Sadler. Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed in the twilight last gleaming, who brought stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the rampart we watch, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare that was bursting in the air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Or say does the star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, honored speakers, welcome to Asian American and Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Capital Day, or AANHPI Capital Day. It's an honor to have each and every one of you here as we come together to celebrate and advocate for the Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander communities. AANHPI Capital Day is an annual event hosted by APIA Vote Michigan and MAPAC. My name is Joseph Paul Passes Javier, and I'll be your host for today's program. And I want to start things off by thanking each and every one of us here this morning for joining and expressing gratitude to APIA Vote Michigan, as well as the Michigan Asian Pacific American Affairs Commission, better known as MAPAC, for bringing the Asian community together every year. So a big round of applause. So we have a vibrant and full agenda ahead, so let's get things started and dive right in with our opening remarks. So please welcome, and joining me, Rebecca Islam, the Executive Director of APIA Vote Michigan, as well as she's also the Vice Chair of MAPAC, here on stage. Welcome, Rebecca.
They always do this to me. All right. Good morning, everyone, and happy Asian Heritage Month. Are you all excited? Yes! And it is truly wonderful to be with all of you here today as we celebrate our rich heritage and the vibrant community that we have here. This actually marks our 13th year at the Capitol. Maybe steps away from the Capitol today, but really honored to be here with all of you. And as today we gather to pay a tribute to our Asian American community, we're also here to advocate for issues that are really important to us. And with that, I want to go ahead and introduce our keynote speaker. I'll definitely come back with more, but for now, I want to just go ahead and introduce our keynote speaker. And before I introduce our keynote speaker, I want to express my sincere appreciation and gratitude to the individuals that really work behind the scenes. The staff of the governor's office who have tirelessly hustled to ensure that the governor is there whenever we need her. And they're the ones that are really just making this great partnership with the commissioners, with API Vote Michigan. Folks like Samaya Ahmed, the head of engagement, who you will hear later in the program, Papi Hernandez, who could not join us today because I'm sure she's addressing some other important things elsewhere with her trademark of commitment and efficiency. So thank you all for all that you do. And as commissioners and leaders, we are so privileged to serve our communities, but we are also a reflection of the diverse community, the diverse fabric of this great state of Michigan. And under the visionary leadership of Governor Whitmer, Michigan has seen so much progress and really embraced the diversity of this community. And I stand here today humbled by the opportunities created by Governor Whitmer by just really providing us a seat and a seat at the table to have a voice. So, and I always say this, I might have been too young to recall the actions of our previous governors, but I will always remember Governor Whitmer, how she ensured that every voice was heard and everyone had a seat at the table and every seat was filled. So it is my absolute honor. Without further ado, please join me in extending a warm welcome to our very own Governor Whitmer.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's so great to be here and great to be here with all of you. I appreciate the importance of today and every day as we raise our voices to make sure that Michigan is a more just, equitable place where all people can find a path to prosperity and be respected and protected under the law, and ensure that if you call Michigan home, you can be confident that you've got opportunity. So I'm honored to speak with all of you here about the work that we've done to support our Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander communities in Michigan. These are some of our fastest growing communities. You are the living embodiment of the fundamental promise of Michigan, that you can live a good life and build a brighter future for your children. As governor, I am committed to helping make sure that that is a reality. I want to thank my partners in this effort, APIA Vote and the Michigan Asian Pacific American Affairs Commission, MAPAC. They've been fierce advocates, fighting for the kitchen table issues that make a real difference in people's lives, directly engaging the thousands of Michiganders annually, showcasing culture, fostering connections, and building community, collaborating with other organizations to host film festivals, food drives, galas, and everything in between. And of course, They brought us all together today to advance community interests. There's so many other initiatives and partnerships, too many to name, but the diverse communities that make up the broader Asian American and Pacific Islander community have got a strong presence and voice here in Michigan. We got to remember that no community is a monolith. Asian Americans, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islanders have heritage that spans multiple continents and hundreds of languages. Like any big community, there is a diversity of challenges faced by different members. But in unity, there is strength. And that's why days like today are so important. Our diversity makes us stronger and safer, and I'm proud to serve as governor and represent you. Our state and nation are defined by the idea that no matter where you come from, you can become an American and you can live the American dream. There's no better example of this extraordinary promise than our newest state representative, my song. Yale. Mai is a proud Hmong American. She is born in a refugee camp and now represents her community in the state legislature. That's what our nation is all about. Her story is the American story, a story of hope. No matter who we are, we share a common goal, that we want everyone to be able to make it here in Michigan. We want everyone to have a great story. There are two issues that I want to highlight today that are critical to helping people build great lives in Michigan. The first is education. Since I took office, I've worked with my legislative partners to make record bipartisan investments in students, teachers, and schools. We closed the funding gap between schools, brought all-time student funding to a historic high, and dedicated extra resources to English language learners, resources for at-risk populations, and special education. We delivered free breakfast and lunch for all 1.4 million Michigan school kids, and we lowered the cost of college for over 70% of graduating seniors. We've made a lot of progress together to expand access to education, and this year I'm proposing we take it the next logical step through the Michigan Guarantee, which is universal pre-K for all 4-year-olds in Michigan through 2 years of community college after graduation. And we all know that the economy is central to all of our families' needs, all of our businesses' needs, and since I took office, I want you to know we have grown our economy. We've secured over 37,000 auto jobs, securing the future of mobility and manufacturing here in Michigan. We're building a record number of affordable housing units across the state so that more people can afford to buy a home in Michigan. And we are creating jobs and fixing our infrastructure. So I am proud of the work that we have done, but there is always more good work to do. And I want you to know that your position, your vantage point, your voices are important to us as we do this work. I want to thank you all for being here in Lansing. Thank you for making sure that people at the Capitol are hearing what's happening in communities and can help stay focused on what is going to make people's lives better. And I thank you all for giving me a little bit of your time. And with that, I am proud to present this certificate of proclamation recognizing this as Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month in Michigan. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor, for those inspiring words. And we are going to call up on stage right now the legislators that she didn't mention. So please welcome, and join me here on stage, Senator Stephanie Chan, Representative Rajiv Puri, Senator Sam Singh, and of course, our latest addition to Michigan's roster of AAPI legislators, Representative Mai Song, to the stage.
Well, good morning and happy Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. This, I think, might be the biggest crowd I've ever seen out of the capital of Asian American, so this is really exciting. Thank you all so much for being here, and thank you to API Vote Michigan and MAPAC for organizing this really important event. Each of the four of us was a first Asian American woman, first Indian American, first Hmong American, first Sikh American. And, but you know what's even more important than us being first is the work that we are doing on behalf of our communities, on behalf of our districts. And so I just want to let you know that we have an Asian Pacific American Legislative Caucus in the legislature where we do what we can in partnership with MAPAC and many of you to uplift the issues affecting the community. Last fall, I'm really proud that we passed legislation from Representative Corey and myself and others to ensure language access, because we know that there are many folks in our community who may not speak or read English as fluently as others. And so being able to make sure that they're able to access state government services, whether that's unemployment or food or health benefits or anything else, that they're able to get the services that they need in their language. So thank you to Governor Whitmer for signing that legislation, but we've got more work to do. On the issue of language access, we are currently also working to ensure language access in our elections. And so we are part of the Michigan Voting Rights Act to ensure that we are actually building on what is at the federal level in terms of making sure that we expand how many places in Michigan actually provide translated ballots, translated election materials, and bilingual poll workers, which we know will help more of members of our community and other communities to be able to participate in our democracy. The other issue that I'll highlight that many of us are working on is making sure that we all learn Asian American history as well as all of the histories of other communities of color in our classrooms.
Yes.
And so I think Corey will probably talk a little bit more about this, but I just, you know, all of us are parents and all of us want to make sure that our children learn our history and that they're learning everyone's history.
Yes.
Because they deserve to see themselves reflected in our classrooms, and they deserve to know that they are valued. And imagine what kind of world we would have if every child had learned about the histories of every one of our communities. So thank you for being here. Thank you for uplifting your voices and our community's voices during this really important time. Thank you.
Good morning. I want to just join with my fellow Senator, Senator Chang, my welcome and greetings to all of you for coming out today and having your voice heard at the state capitol. I was reflecting back in the early 2000s when Governor Granholm brought a handful of us together to form one of the first advisory boards for a governor on Asian American and Pacific Islander Native Hawaiian issues that were facing our state, and we then turned that mighty little advisory group with a lot of hard work. There's a few of the people in here that helped it make it a formal commission. So it is actually in legislation, so it'll always be here representing our communities in state government and helping the governor understand the issues that face our communities. And just glad to see that has continued into an event like this, where again we are seeing more and more of our members of our community coming out, sharing their ideas, their perspective, and their voice to our legislators. Our legislators need to understand the diversity of the viewpoints and perspectives and communities that we have here in the state so we can make better policy for all of you. So I want to just thank you. Senator Chang and I have session right now. We're joined by one of our great colleagues, Senator Shu Shink from Washtenaw. She's over here behind the curtains. We're going to go vote on some budgets, and I think once you see those, you'll be really impressed with the great work that we're doing on behalf of the state of Michigan. So thank you very much. We'll turn it over to my colleagues from the State House of Representatives. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you so much, Senator. Welcome everybody to Lansing. My name is State Representative Rajiv Corey. It's an honor to be here amongst all of you. I'm so impressed by this room full of people. I want to thank our hosts. Thank you to API Vote and the MAPAC Commission for putting this together. This is one of the most phenomenal turnouts I've seen for a lobby day of any organization. So, and I see so many people that have been in this work for years. And so can we just get a round of applause to the community building and the effort that to build up to this. This is phenomenal. When I look around this room, I see so much enthusiasm because, you know, when I think about the AANHPI community, I see the individualistic stories of so many different people. Oftentimes our communities are bucketed together for demographic reasons, and painted with broad strokes. But what makes us so special is the uniqueness of every sub-community. Now, don't get me wrong, there's times to bucket us together, when you're talking about communities with great food, with great music, with great dance, we deserve to be together, because that's us. And surely, in a room full of people like this, there's probably a doctor or an engineer out there. And so, we are a community that is very resilient, a community that has now woven into the fabric of the broader Michigan and American culture. And that didn't come easy. The immigration stories and the centuries of plight that our various sub-communities have faced collectively is not the most rosy of pictures. But to see the resilience of this community is a story of hope. Because when we look around and you learn about each individual story of this person or their ancestors of just leaving their ancestral homeland behind, coming to this country to aspire to live the American dream, I cannot think of many other communities that embody that story, that version of the American dream, the way that this room full of people does. And so it is my greatest honor to now serve in the APA caucus in Lansing that Senator Chang alluded to. We are now up to a record 4 people because of the addition of Representative Mike Long. And we talk a lot of the work that we are doing in Lansing. And what I urge everyone in this room is to continue to show up to Lansing, continue to pay attention to the work, because we are trying to really move the needle now on what the needs, to meet the needs of this community. The needs of the Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander community are not much different than the broader needs of Michigan. But it is a time that we continue to make sure that we're lifting up this community and fighting for a Michigan that is all-inclusive of all communities. And so it is my deepest honor to do that work alongside my colleagues, my newest colleague, State Representative Maya Song. I'd love to invite you up and to say a few words as well.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hi. Yashong. Hola. Sawadika. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mai Song, and I'm Hmong American, proud to be serving in the state legislature. Never thought in a million years that I'd ever be here, but only in America is anything possible. I love this country. I was born in a refugee camp that, as the governor alluded to, came here when I was 3 years old, was the first in my family to start preschool, have a full public school education experience. My family fled war and persecution and were allies to America during the Vietnam War. My story is the story of thousands of Asian Americans, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islanders, those who have fled regimes that were oppressive and came here to ensure that their children had a better opportunity in education. So I'm just so honored to be here among my colleagues, to be representing our community. We need to do more. We need to create policies that are welcoming to immigrants, those who come here to start businesses and to contribute to our economy. I know how busy you all are, and I'm sure it was very hard coming here with all the construction and road closures, but I thank you for taking the time to come. Your presence is so important. Brett Puri and I have to go to session at noon, but I invite all of you to join us, because today we will be presenting a resolution on the floor to recognize the month of May as AANHPI Heritage Month. It's important that we continue to share our stories, because no one is going to do it for us if we don't. Thank you.
Thank you very much, legislators. Back on stage, I would like to call back Rebecca Islam. A big round of applause, please.
I want to thank our APA caucus members for all that they do here in Lansing. In addition to our elected officials, we are joined by several Asian American organizations who have significant contribution to the community. And I would like to just bring everyone's attention to our beautiful slide that's to my left, your right. Please take a look at the slide to recognize all the beautiful organizations that are contributing to the Asian American community, including ACA, US Pinoys, the Korean Association of Michigan, Rising Voices, Philemco, NAFA, Vietnamese Association, Thai Association, and again, many that you will see on the screen. And I want to also acknowledge our lovely commissioners from MAPAC and our board of directors from APIA of Michigan. If you all would kindly please stand to be recognized at this time. Yes, please give them a round of applause. Thank you all for all that you do. We have a full day of events planned today, and we hope everyone takes full advantage of the opportunities and the events that we have planned throughout the day. And just a reminder for those who are meeting with legislators, please make sure you check your times to see when your meetings are. And prior to your meeting, 15 minutes prior to your meetings, please meet your lead at the back of the door so that you can go ahead and be part of those legislative meetings. And once again, I want to welcome you all again to our Heritage Month celebration. We have lots happening, and with that, I will hand it over to Joseph to get the program going. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. Up next, I would like to call up on stage for her remarks, the chair of MAPAC. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Aisha Ghazi.
Thank you. It is incredible to see the number of people in the room today. So firstly, I'm Aisha Ghazi Edlin. I'm the chair of the Michigan Asian Pacific American Affairs Commission. And I want to just start by asking all of you to give yourselves a round of applause. Yes. Because of your community organizations, this is why we are a thriving, powerful community. And because of the diversity in the room, this is why we're the fastest growing community both in the state and in the nation. And we have the power to sway elections. We did it in 2020. And you're here today because we need to make sure that our voices are heard in the political process. So while you visit legislatures today, share your stories. Tell them what we need. Tell them that we need to be seen in healthcare, that we need our languages and our histories taught in schools. And also see yourselves in places of power. The only way that we are going to make change is if we remember that we too are the leaders of America. I also want to thank finally the governor, all of our support, API Vote Michigan, all of the collaborating organizations, and our APA caucus members. I hope you have a truly inspiring day, and thank you for your involvement.
Thank you, Commissioner. Up next, we would like to call another MAPAC Commissioner, as well as the lead organizer for MAPAC. Please welcome Sharon Dow.
Thank you, everyone, for joining 15th AANHPI Day. This is a fun time. I want to introduce three cultural representatives. We promote culture every year. This year we have three cultures to present. We have Burmese American, Cambodian American, and Filipino American, with three cultures to present, all in Southeast Asia. First of, Burma. Lakeview High School Burmese Club, presenting the Burmese American culture for Burma Center. Burma Center has been supporting the Burmese American community and the entire Springfield and Battle Creek area for years, bringing the dream of truly a multicultural society right into one neighborhood. Second, Cambodia. Dave Singh is an emerging filmmaker recognized for his thought-provoking and social conscious storytelling. Hailing from the heartland of Midland, David brings a fresh perspective and as a new voice into this industry, infusing his work with the rich tapestry of his Cambodian, Mexican, and American background to create deeply personal and universally resonant story. Third, Philippines. The Philippine American Community Center of Michigan Hula Dance Class represents the Filipino American culture. The center shall promote, advance, and preserve the Filipino American culture and heritage by providing services and programs for the benefit of the entire community at large. We are fortunate to have all these three cultural presentation, and we are looking forward to it. I think that's the cultural presentation part. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sharon. Up next, I would like to call up Poppy Hernandez. She is the Executive Director of the Office of Global Michigan, as well as the Chief Equity Officer at the Governor's Office. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Poppy Hernandez.
Thank you so much. Wow, so awesome to see all of you here. I am a person who feels very lucky every day because I wake up in the morning and I get to work alongside people like you and the commissioners who made this happen today and the various organizations who have been collaborative partners on this. I just want to say a couple of things. First, thank you for taking the time to come here today. The legislators need to know what matters to you so that they can create policy that serves you. So thank you for making the time to come here today. The second thing I wanted to say is the commission lives within the Office of Global Michigan, and I've worked very hard to make sure the commission has the funding that it needs, has the access to the governor's office that it needs, and I'm hoping that you're going to continue to work with the commission in making sure that they're serving you on behalf of Asians and Pacific Islanders across the whole state. So do come to the commission with requests for sponsorship. Come to the commission for requests for advocacy. If there's an issue happening in your community that you need folks in Lansing to know about, your commission is here to serve. So lastly, I just want to thank you so much. Like I said at the very beginning, I feel grateful every day to be part of this work, and I'm looking forward to what you make happen. The legislators on the stage today, we've never seen representation like that in Michigan's legislature. That means that we're making progress and we can actually see it. So let's just keep moving forward, getting the good work done. We're here for all of you to make that happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, we have the Director of Appointments in the Office of Governor Whitmer. Please welcome Sumaya Ahmed Sheikh.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for coming today. As Poppy and others stated, we're so excited to see such a packed room of amazing individuals. My name is Sumaya Ahmed Sheikh. I am the Head of Engagement in the Appointments Division. I've worked with many of you in the room, but I'm looking forward to working with more of you. I'm going to turn your attention to the PowerPoint. I have a couple minutes here, but if I have amazing people in the room, I want to let you know about the appointments process, what we do, how to apply, and all the things related to that. So I will be sharing this PowerPoint after with Rebecca and team, so she can get this information out to you. I'll go ahead to the next slide. Starting with our team, myself, Samaya, we have Director Thibodeau, Jeremy, Joseph, Ryan, Emily, and Caitlin. The want you to be familiar with these faces is because throughout the appointments process, you'll connect with various people across our team. You'll start with connecting with our specialist first as you're applying for an appointment, and then as we near decisions, you may be connecting with myself, our Director Thibodeau. What we do, the Appointments Division is responsible for seeking qualified candidates to serve the state on boards and commissions. We have over 250 boards and commissions. That's not including the appointments that we make to judicial appointments as well as university appointments. So that means we have about 2,200 appointees in the state of Michigan at any given time. So there are a lot of seats we need to fill, and we need a lot of you to apply to those seats. Boards and commissions cover various topics like education, workforce, healthcare, housing, environmental justice, criminal justice, and also some of the issues that directly impact ethnic and cultural communities. By the numbers, like I said earlier, we have over 250 boards and commissions, over 2,200 given appointees at any given time. When you are appointed to a commission, you work directly with your board liaison and your commission. That board liaison is hosted over the different departments that are here at the state of Michigan. So sometimes those commissions fall under Treasury, fall under NDAR, which is our agricultural aid, MEDC, LARA, and so on. So I just want you to be familiar with some of these different departments because all of our commissions work directly with them. Your impact. So the fact that you're in the room here means that you are already engaged, you're civically engaged, you're ready to take that step to become an appointee because you have impact on your community. One, you connect with your community. You can bring the issues that are affecting your constituents, your community members, your neighbors, your friends to the table as an appointee. Share. You get access to information as an appointee, sometimes before the information is even out to the public. So you get an opportunity to share that information with your family, your friends, your neighbors who can uplift the mission and the vision of the governor. You can do that via social media, of course, emails, newsletters. We do our best to share that information with organizations that you may all be on or communities that you may be a part of, so you can share them with your networks as well. Now getting to the application process, if there's one website you need to know, there's one website you need to know, it's michigan.gov/appointments. That has everything that you need to know about the appointments world. You'll see a view all section where you can see all the boards and commissions that are listed. You can click on the boards and commissions and see what the commission does, when their meeting minutes are, what their meeting minutes were, when their next meeting date is, who currently sits on the commission, the seat that they represent, which is important because sometimes these commissions have specific seats that you need to represent, whether you're a professional or an educator and so on. And some are general public seats, which means we need any general public member to fill that seat. So please do follow us, get engaged, consider applying to appointments, and then I'm going to skip over to a slide called Tips for Success. We can skip over this one. For Tips for Success, I recommend that everyone applies early. Your application stays in our system for about 2 years. So that means even if you don't know if you're ready to serve on a commission quite yet, at least your application is in the door. You also have access to edit that application as information about yourself changes. Please send letters of recommendations and referrals. You can imagine how many people apply to appointments. So if you have anyone that can advocate for yourself, the number one people that I think of are the people that are here in the room under APIA commissioners to advocate for you for the work that you're doing in your community. Share the good values that you're doing. Don't be shy when you're filling out your application. It's not time to be shy. You could get at one thing that makes you different from a different application. And then anticipated vetting. All of our candidates get vetted. And the last one is consider applying for the less obvious boards and commissions. When I speak to a lot of communities like this one, I know sometimes we want to sit on, MAPAC or the Hispanic Latino Commission or the Commission on Middle Eastern Affairs. But we know better that we need to be represented across all of the boards and commissions here in the state of Michigan. So we need people to sit on the Board of Medicine. We need people to be in the Court Marketing Commission. We need people to be on MEDC and all of the things, right? So we need to make sure that we are representative in all the different fields. Here's a page. If you're going to take a picture of one page, this is the picture to take it of. It has all the websites that you need to get access to appointments, to get access access to the river administration, press releases, requesting a tribute, requesting a proclamation. If you don't know how to navigate websites, feel free to contact your commissioners. I'm sure they'd be happy to give you these links as well. Thank you so much. I'll be circulating the room here a little bit. If you have any questions, feel free to come up to me and ask me. And lastly, you guys are all connected to different networks and organizations. We do these presentations across the state of Michigan. I would love to connect and do that in the rooms that you are in. So feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to come on over to your place. So thank you so much and have a wonderful day.
Okay, thank you so much for those kind words. And as promised, we have entertainment for everyone. So, there, thank you so much, Maria. As we clear off the stage, you guys ready for some entertainment? Yeah! Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, for a special dance number, please show your love for our Burmese cultural group. Give it up! Thank you very much to our Burmese community for that wonderful dance. We still have more performances for you later this morning, or probably this afternoon, from other cultures representing AANHPI. But right now we have a special guest that would like to talk to you. He's got a wonderful speech talking about the power of using your voice. So, of course, as a community, today is the time that we all come together and celebrate the different voices that we have that can come together as one to, make change, pass legislation, and to make a difference here in our state of Michigan. So, ladies and gentlemen, the director of Bad Acts is up here next on stage. Please put your hands together for David Siv.
Thank you. Wow, thank you everyone so much for being here today. I was actually really nervous about this morning, and I've done this like a dozen times already, but it still gets very nerve-wracking every time you have to talk in front of a bunch of people. But once I showed up, I felt like I'm just among my people. Look how beautiful this room is. Come on, we're using our voices. Like let's see how loud we can get. No. Back there, I gotta this. We have to use our voices. It is AANHPI Day. So, on the count of three, we're going to see how loud our voices can get. 1, 2, 3! That's better. Good. All right. Well, thank you so much, APAC, APIA folks. Thank you to Big Gretch and everyone for helping to make this very special day possible. As far as an intro about myself, my name is David Siv. I'm a filmmaker, a proud Michigander, and I'm from a town most of you haven't heard of, which is called Bad Axe, Michigan. Has anyone heard of Bad Axe? Yes. Oh, wow, okay. That's impressive. Okay, for those of you who do not know where Bad Axe is, we're located in the Thumb, way up there, about 2.5 hours north, middle of nowhere. And it's a beautiful place to grow up. A lot of cornfields, about 2 traffic lights. There's not a lot of people that look like me though. And that was something I really struggled with a lot growing up. What does it mean to be Cambodian, Mexican, American? That's 2 hyphens I got to put in my identity. I ate different foods. I had different family dynamics. My father is a Cambodian refugee. He came here in 1979. He has a lot of trauma that he's dealt with surviving the Cambodian genocide. I had different expectations. And I also had a different experience of being a brown kid in a primarily white community. Now, these differences, they made me feel like an outsider a lot of times. It made me feel like I never quite belonged, that I'm different. I felt this sense of what we call other. And that was really tough. But the older I got, the more I learned about my family's story, my background, where I came from, the more I began to embrace my identity and became proud of the many hyphens in being Cambodian, Mexican, American. So, it was in 2020, the year of the pandemic, a year of so much uncertainty, that I decided, you know what, I'm going to make a film about this. I'm going to share my family's story. So that's what we're going to watch real quick. We're going to watch a trailer of my film Bad Axe, just to give you a bit more context. It's real quick. Doesn't look like we have audio.
David. April 17, 1975, when everything changed in Cambodia. My mom survived with 6 children and made our way to Michigan.
When we first came to Bad Axe and opened up a donut shop, we didn't exactly fit in.
We live in a community that's 97% white.
In a town with less than 4,000 residents, it's not easy to live off of donuts.
So eventually we decided to change into a restaurant. It felt like building the American dream.
And our whole lives just changed, shut down.
This is a global pandemic.
Increasing numbers of cases and deaths here in Michigan. Bars, restaurants, coffee shops, all ordered by Governor Whitmer to stop normal business.
When you grow up knowing what it's like to have nothing, you're always afraid of going back to that point. After living Cambodia for everything America has to offer, everything that we're afraid of is happening.
It's a hard time that people are through right now. Every day is a battle.
If something happens to you, nothing matters anymore.
Racist rhetoric against Asian Americans has become a real problem.
Discrimination against us, then our whole lives can be wiped away.
You're going to end up thinking yourself your own brain.
I'm very angry. My family and I will be changing our restaurant routine, and great choice is no longer a choice. You can return to Cambodia for opportunity.
The frustration with bad acts have forced us that much closer together as a family.
I look at bad acts and I don't ever want to give up on it. It's a place that I see hope in it, so hard, and we still love it.
It's just amazing how much we get to be a part of this community.
People can change. You just can't force it on them.
This is being a dream of what America is.
Now look, I wanted to share my family's story even before I started making this movie. I wanted to share it because when I think about my family's history, to me it's everything that encapsulates what the American dream is. It was the year 1998 that a Mexican-American woman and a Cambodian refugee had this vision to start building their American dream in no other place than Bad Axe, Michigan. And it's very inspiring when I think back to our family's history. My parents, they don't have anything other than a high school education, but they have life experience. My dad came here with nothing but the shirt on his back in 1979 after surviving the killing fields. They moved to Baptist in 98, opened up a donut shop, and it turns out it's really hard to make a living selling donuts. So they pivoted and they turned that donut shop into a family restaurant. But there was still a struggle. The restaurant wasn't making that much money. It's a small town. My parents are new business owners. They're not quite sure what to do. But the one thing that we did do as a family is we stayed resilient. We worked hard, we worked together to keep this restaurant open. And it wasn't easy. I remember as a kid going month to month, wondering if we were going to get kicked out of our house, if the bank was going to seize the restaurant, if my parents were going to have a job the next month if the restaurant didn't make it. But in staying together, we were able to come out of it successful on the other side. And a lot of that is thanks to my oldest sister, Jacqueline. Now, Jacqueline, being the oldest sibling, she had the responsibility to take care of the family, to take care of the restaurant. She's a first generation college-educated kid. She ended up getting a job working in automotive, ended up making a good paycheck for herself, and you know what she did with her first year's salary? She put it back into the restaurant. She helped my parents re-strategize, hey, this is what we should do. This is how we turn this failing business around and make it into something special that the community needs. And we did it. The restaurant became the center of our community in many ways. It was where people celebrated birthdays, where people came together and had special moments. We became a part of people's families, and it felt like the sense of otherness that we always felt growing up, that went away, and we felt like, oh, maybe we do belong here. Well, then the pandemic hit in March of 2020. And uncertainty came to our world and to my family's business. I was living in New York at the time, just getting my bearings, starting my career as a film director, and in a moment's notice, I became unemployed and had to move back home. And what did I do with all that free time at home? Well, I just started filming my family. I always knew I wanted to share their story, so why not a better time than now, during 2020, to start that journey? Little did I know that these home videos I was making ended up turning into something much larger about my family and the American dream. How do you keep the American dream alive in the face of a pandemic? In the face of a time where there's rising AAPI hate? In a time of so much political division, we just can't even have a conversation with each other. In a time where we need to stand in solidarity after the murder of George Floyd. These were questions that I could only answer through my true passion, which is storytelling. Now, there were many people in the community of Bad Axe who were not happy that my family was sharing our voice and discussing these important issues. Being in this community for 20 years, we all of a sudden had people telling us, I'm not going to come visit your restaurant anymore. You're stopping my mom at the local Walmart saying, hey, I hear your son is making a movie that's making our town look bad. I am not going to come visit your restaurant anymore. We got letters from anonymous people who are saying, hey, if you have such a problem living in Bad Axe, why don't you just go back to Cambodia? And all of a sudden, you go from thinking you're accepted to all of a sudden, you feel that sense of otherness again. You feel that difference. You feel like an outsider. I continued to make this film. I continued to film my family, but we debated internally. Because of the backlash we were getting, because our American dream that we spent so many years building up was being threatened, because of what I was doing of sharing our voices, we debated, is it worth it? Is it worth it to put 20 years of hard work just to use our voice and have all these people say they're no longer going to come to our restaurant anymore? There was a lot of discussions, many tough discussions. And for those of you who've seen the film, you know what discussions I'm talking about. Because as Asian Americans, we're often expected to be quiet, stay in the down low, right? The model minority myth. Follow the status quo. We decided not to do that. So, after 2 years of filming, the film had its world premiere at the South by Southwest Film Festival. For those of you who don't know, South by Southwest is one of the most renowned and largest festivals in North America. Thank you. The film went on this incredible journey. It won numerous festival awards. It won the Critics' Choice Award. It became the most awarded film that year alongside Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. And to top it off, I'm proud to share, I'm the first Cambodian American to ever be shortlisted for the Academy Awards. It's all very exciting. It felt like a dream because this was an independent film that was made with my credit card and nobody wanted to fund it. But here we were, touching people's hearts with our story. And while all of these awards, all this recognition, it was exciting, it was gratifying, it made me feel like I'm moving forward in my career as a filmmaker, there was still one real test. How was the community of Bad Axe going to respond to watching this film? Because prior to that, everybody was judging it based off a trailer. People were watching the movie and saying, you're making Bad Axe look like a racist town. Oh, there's no way you had any racism in Bad Axe, that doesn't exist. This is all a bunch of lies, this is a bunch of propaganda. Well, we decided we wanted to show the film to Bad Axe and help them decide for themselves. And that screening actually happened 2 years ago, right around this day, during AANHPI month. It was a packed theater. The amount of people there were about the number of people in this room. And on one half of the theater, I recognized those were the people that have always been there for our family. Those were the people that supported this film, and they wanted to hear our story. On the other half of the theater, not so much. These were the people that were sending me messages, leaving comments on Facebook, telling us to go back to Cambodia. It was very stressful because we had a room, a microcosm of the entire community of bad acts watching our story. Now, as a filmmaker, I decided I wanted to become a filmmaker because I wanted to change the world. To be honest, I don't know if I necessarily believed in that. I didn't know if I believed I could do that. It just sounded like this great, hopeful thing that, hey, maybe by using my voice, sharing our story, I can actually change some hearts and I can change some minds. Well, after that screening, I brought my family up for a Q&A. And we're just waiting. We're just waiting for people to throw tomatoes, people to toss, start saying hurtful, meaningful things. But that didn't happen. The first person that stood up in that Q&A after we showed Bad Acts was somebody who I know didn't support the movie. And they stood up, and you know what they said? They said, "Thank you so much for sharing your story and opening up my eyes to something I didn't know existed in our community." That night will always be profound to me as I continue on my career as a filmmaker, because it proves something to me. It proves that my voice did matter. Our story did matter. All your stories in here, they matter. But they only matter if we share them. Because here's the thing about change. Change happens very slowly. It does not happen fast. But it's possible. Change happens one person, one conversation at a time. And the most effective use for promoting change is storytelling. Bad Acts, I can say, a town I love so much, a town that my family faced so much adversity, has changed for the better because we used our voices, because our experience became recognized, because they became real. This feeling I always felt growing up that I was less American than my schoolmates and other people in the community, it's not true. It's just a different experience of being American. Everyone in this room is just as American as anyone else in your community. We have a very important year this year. We have a year where we have the power, we have the ability to tell our stories and enact real change. If me, a little brown boy growing up in Bad Axe, Michigan, can do it, then all of you here can do it. But it starts with using your voice. So one more time, I need to hear you get as loud as you can. Scream your voice. 1, 2, 3! Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, David, for those inspiring words. So hopefully, after this, we'll be going to the Capitol building. We want to hear everyone's voices just that loud and clear. So a quick announcement before we get to the next part of our program with more entertainment. If you haven't been served food yet, our volunteers from our staff from APIA Vote Michigan are coming around and they'll be serving food at your table. We have halal options as well as kosher options as well. So just make sure to let them know what kind of food options that you would like to be served. So are you guys ready for some more entertainment? Okay, so here's a clue of our next performers. Mabuhay and Aloha. Do those terms sound familiar? Okay, well, Mabuhay actually means, it's a greeting from the Philippines, of which I represent that ethnic group. And Aloha, of course, is a synonymous greeting and farewell from Hawaii. So with that, our next performers that I'd like to call up on stage are from the Philippine American Cultural Center of Michigan, or PACCM. It's their hula class, and this is the 6th year that PACCM has participated in this event. And joining our hula dancers from PACCM, chanting, we have Chantal Taylor from the Polynesian Indigenous Knowledge Organization, which is a Native Hawaiian cultural group. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for our next performance. Palakpakan kayo dyan!
Aloha, aloha.
our performers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we'll let them get off stage really quickly. So hopefully everyone is enjoying their lunch. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Okay, so our program is about to end. If you will be going to the Capitol building, we'll be meeting outside or right in front, and we'll line up and convoy all the way to the Capitol. It's only about 2 or 3 blocks from here, so it'll be pretty easy. So once again, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us today for AANHPI Capitol Day. Your presence here is greatly supported and appreciated. So with our closing remarks, I'd like to call back Rebecca to say a few words before we end today's program.
Thank you so much. First, I would just want to reiterate what Joseph said. If you are going and able to walk to the Capitol, please make your way to the registration table right now. I know folks are still finishing up lunch. Just know that we will be back here. And if folks who are deciding not to go, you can stay back. We have the space for as long as we need it. So please, if you are going to the Capitol, please start going back to the registration table. The API Vote Michigan team is there. They are going to walk you to the Capitol, where all of us will get recognized by the senators, by the legislators, recognizing, and they will present a legislation or a resolution recognizing Asian American Heritage Month. So again, if folks are going to the Capitol building, please start getting up, gather your things. Feel free to leave your things here, obviously to the extent that you're comfortable with, but we will be back here and people will stay back here, those who are not going. And also, I just want to remind all of you that we are going to take a group picture, so if you would like to participate in our annual Capitol Day group picture at the Capitol, please make sure you gather up the steps, at the front of the Capitol steps at 1 o'clock. Again, our group picture is at 1 p.m. So if you are in meetings, if you are going to the gallery recognition, or if you are attending the tour, please make sure you come back by 1 o'clock at the Capitol steps, front lawn. Also, and one more thing, I promise this is it, and I need everyone to listen. If you are taking the bus back to Southeast Michigan, or if you're taking the bus back to Grand Rapids, your buses are leaving at 2 p.m. So you need to be here in this space at 2 p.m. if you're taking the bus back to your destination, 2 p.m. So here are the times you need to remember: 1 p.m. pictures, 2 p.m. bus rides. Everyone got that?
Yep.
Yes. So what time do buses leave?
2.
Okay, what time is group picture?
1.
That's right.